Welcome to our extended panel for the Georgia vote this week. We are joined by Mark Rountree, Republican strategist, Fal Sabbak, Democratic strategist, and joining us for the first time on this extended panel is Thomas Wheatley, reporter at Axios. Welcome to panel. So during the show this week, we did speak about immigration. We've seen a lot of movement since the Trump administration came in and laid some extremely different policies than we saw in the Biden administration. Mark, let me ask you this. We know that the No Kings protests that we saw, they're kind of drawing this relationship with the Trump administration and comparing it to tyranny. We know that not everybody is seeing it like that.
No, not everybody's seeing it like that, to say the least. I think these are basically the same people that were using this in the 2024 election, saying that Trump was going to be a dictator. It's the same people making the same arguments, just using a new kind of buzzword, maybe with some new, different kind of funding, and then tapping into some of the illegal immigration people here in Georgia and their supporters. But it's basically the same. It's going to have the same political effect, which is not much.
Fal, some people do see it as tyranny and say that he is throwing out the word fascism.
Yeah, you know, some people are using that kind of language. I mean, we saw what's been happening in California. We saw that Trump came in and deployed the National Guard, and the courts yesterday reversed it and said that that was an overreach of his power. And so I think that folks are going to be out, and I think they're going to be talking about it. And I think folks who are opposed to this are going to say, and I think you have people in the middle who are now seeing, oh, this immigration, what it's actually happening, where it's you have residents, you have people, green card holders, citizens who are being snatched off the streets. I mean, I think that that's going to sway some people to say, oh, that's not really what I voted for.
And I mean, it's going to be interesting, like Mark said, it's going to play in politically, of course. And I think during this show, you mentioned this is an ad in the making. Thomas, how do you see this playing out politically and swaying voters?
Well, I think that what we're seeing right now is we're starting to see the extent of what Georgians feel is they can tolerate of the immigration enforcement actions. I mean, you saw Representative Casey Carpenter express some concerns about the impact that the enforcement actions are having with people in Dalton. Trump recently also discussed, that he's acknowledging the impact that it's having on farmers and the hospitality industry. Will these protests, change, stop them? I don't know, but we are going to get a real sense of, what the public feels about these tactics.
Yeah. Mark, do you agree with that?
I mostly agree with it. I do think in the end, though, that this is going to have the same impact that the same people that were screaming fascism, screaming dictator and all that, I think it's basically going to have the same effect on the 2026 election, which is that it's going to end up hurting that side of the political argument. I think this is going to help Trump and Republicans to be enforcing the law.
You think it's going to help Trump and Republicans? What
Definitely.
about those who voted for Trump and said, I didn't vote for this?
I don't think there are a lot of those. I think people actually voted for this. I think people knew very well, and Donald Trump was very clear that this was going to happen. I think you may be correct that it may not feel good sometimes, but I think the large majority of people that voted for Trump expected this result.
The majority of people. And then we have those, then I guess he would be a minority like Casey Carpenter, who said, I voted for criminals to get out. You agree with that, Fal?
Yeah, I think that that's what most people kind of voted for. They said, look, and we even heard it in Representative Strickland's interview, which was, we're going to look at people who have been breaking other laws first, and then we're going to figure out what's going on later. So I think that's what people voted for.
All right, guys, let me ask you about Mr. Derek Dooley. He says that he is thinking about running against Jon Ossoff in the Senate race. Those know the Dooley name. They know the legendary coach from UGA, his father. Derek, depending on who you ask, not as great of a coach, but could he make a great senator? I'm not saying that. I'm saying some people say that. Mark, could he make a great senator?
Well, I think he's shown a lot of leadership successfully. He's completely unknown on a political level, I think it's fair to say. But he's shown a lot of leadership already in his life on various football teams and has had some success. I do think that there is a niche that can be filled by Dooley or by someone else who could show up with maybe some name recognition, probably a fair amount of money that could be raised, who is not part of the political establishment. That is a very attractive thing. That is a very attractive argument that, particularly in Republican primaries, that candidates can make, that they're outside the system.
And he's never run for office. He is completely outside of the system. Thomas, we talked about this in commercial. He has a relationship with the Kemp family. Could that help him?
Oh, I think it could greatly help him, and it's from everything I've heard, it's a deep relationship. I believe that Kemp lived with his brother Daniel at UGA. Kemp has been to the Dooley home. They've known each other quite a long time. Kemp has created a very powerful political organization in Georgia, and he has created a national profile. Maybe not household name, but well known, and extensive fundraising contacts that he could bank on. And I think that Republicans are also excited because Ossoff has, when he last ran, please correct me if I'm wrong, Warnock was also on the ballot. And some Republicans feel that greatly helps any opponent against Ossoff. Ossoff has raised, I think, $32 million roughly since 2021. He's got $11 million on hand now. So they're going to be making phone calls.
And I mean, we know that this race is going to be one of the biggest races, not only in the state, but in the entire country. Fal, Republicans want this seat very bad. Democrats want to keep it very bad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think, the Dooley name, a lot of people in Georgia know it. A lot of people also knew Herschel Walker's name. And so I think that that's going to be something that folks are going to have to take into consideration. I think Senator Ossoff has done a good job of staying, making sure that he kept his head down, doing the work, and making sure people know what's going on. And so I think that, like what Thomas said, he's got 11 million on hand. I mean, he's going to be a very formidable opponent, and it is going to have the national spotlight on it.
Mark,
this will be the top seat. This will be the top targeted U.S. Senate seat in the country, I believe. It's a swing state. Ossoff really could lose, he really could win. So I think this is one where maybe the candidate selection is going to matter quite a lot to the Republicans going against him.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's probably 47% of the state that is almost automatically going to vote Republican no matter what. And who can get the next 3%?
Yeah. Well, it's something that we will see, and we will continue to talk about it every week right here on The Georgia Vote. Thank you so much for joining us for our extended panel. You can catch us every Sunday at 11 a.m. after Meet the Press.